Here today with all of you. So my name is Sandra. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Gubbe, the best elderly care company. Today I'm going to talk about entrepreneurship, setting a vision for your life and going for that vision. How I think about vision is that it can be around work or around personal life or both. The most important thing is that you define your vision, where you want to be and what kind of life you want to live. Okay, I'm going to now open you Gubbe's story, our story, on how we turned our idea and vision into reality and how bumpy the road has really been. But hey, always interested to know, we heard that there are only few entrepreneurs, but how many of you are maybe dreaming of building something your own one day? Okay. Wow. Really fascinating. Many hands. Okay. Can you guess what this number is? This is the amount of Gubbe visits that have taken place in our 4 years history. I'm so proud of this number because I know that with every one of these visits, we have provided the best care for elderly person and meaningful work for young adult. And I still remember the days when we were excited to see only one Gubbe visit happening on daily basis, and now there are over hundreds of visits happening on daily basis. The idea of the company came through our own needs. Over 20 years ago, my grandmother here, she was left alone when my grandfather died. There were only me and my mom visiting her, and we thought we need some external help. We looked for public home care and friend services, and the problem with both, it was same that people were changing all the time, and we never knew who would go there, when they would go, and what was happening on the visits. Then, when meeting with my amazing co-founder, Meri-Tuuli, she has a master's in health, a background in elderly care. I told her about my idea, and she immediately said that this is it, and it's going to be huge. So then, we took a closer look at the problem and the industry, and we noticed that aging population, it's a huge challenge compared to climate change. You know that the aging population is growing dramatically, and we have a huge lack of nurses already, as Mervi already told. So it's a serious problem, and the equation does not work. So after this, we were even more convinced to push forward our newly business idea. The idea was to build the best elderly care service and providing professional and unhurried care by the same Gubbe helper. And why we were so convinced that our model would work? We saw that there is a great potential in young adults outside the nursing industry, because we saw that gig economy was blooming, and for young people, values really matter. Contributing to social better and doing meaningful work is super important for them. And the lack of nurses and the negative vibe in the industry, they are real problems that we are fixing by making elderly care trendy. And tech-wise, we have recently seen how the digital businesses have been blooming and how this was not seen in the elderly field. At Gubbe, we are a tech company that is developing world-class platform that enables the scaling of our amazing unhurried human-to-human service. And back to this number. We have helped over 2,000 elderly people and created over 2,000 jobs for young adults. We have raised over 6 million euros of funding from the top investors from the Nordics. Wired and over 70 magazines have written a story about us, so we are super proud of what we have already achieved. But we are not stopping here. We are actually only in the very beginning as we are building the world's greatest elderly care company. Nothing more and nothing less. And the road has surely been bumpy, rich and colorful. And I will now share you how it all started. It started after a meeting with my amazing co-founder Meri-Tuuli, my better half. We were both expecting our first babies to be born in April 2017. And then we decided that we are going to start a company together. And I would say there is nothing special in the backgrounds of me and Meri-Tuuli, except we are both always been super hard working and have a high work ethic. Then the first steps. We took our first steps, we quit our previous well-paid jobs and stepped full-time into entrepreneurship. We told everyone and everywhere what we are up to. We attended to this startup boot camp and did street interviews with potential customers. And then we built our website and did a brand visuality. We then started the recruitment for our Gubbe helpers. We posted the job ads to everywhere. And then when we received the first ones, we were so amazed by the first applications, and soon after that, they started to come from doors and windows. And in the middle of the photo here, you can see the photo from our website, where we wanted to present all of our lovely Gubbe helpers. But before really establishing any, we posted pictures of our husbands, friends, and Merkka's sisters. And on the right side, you can see Hanna and Jessica, pictures of our first Gubbe helpers. And I'm so proud to tell you that Hanna and Jessica both still work with us after the amazing 4 years. And then we wrote press releases and sent them to all the magazines. And actually, Turun Sanomat made an article about us. And from that, we received our first leads and first paying customers. Yeah, and already at the very beginning, we knew that we need some external funding to grow the company faster. We just didn't know how, but then Slush was coming, so we were really effective, and we booked like nearly 20 meetings with angel investors. We did a few slides and pitched the investors our idea with full excitement. And many of the angels, they got excited, and they were asking like, how much are you raising, and what's the company valuation? And since we didn't have a clue on these things, the discussions didn't go forward. But one did. Satu and Lasse here, they were so convinced about our excitement, idea, and drive, so that they made a small 10,000 euro investment. But that money quickly ran out. We didn't have a working marketing receipt, and we only served like 9 customers. So there was no salary to pay. We were even so desperate that we applied for some jobs in the meantime to figure out a backup plan. But then we luckily got accepted to Finland's top startup accelerator, and we got to meet with amazing mentors, investors, and their comments and feedback really kept us going. And actually, we ended up winning the whole accelerator, and the really good PR around Gubbe continued. We were still struggling with not having money to put on marketing, so we took a huge risk and raised a 80,000 euro loan from Finnvera. And back then, it felt like a huge risk to take a company loan to your own names without having a clear plan on how to pay it back. But that risk-taking convinced Kim Väisänen. he called me that now he would be ready to invest 50,000 euro, and we could use his name to get the full round together. So with that fresh Finnvera money, that was used on marketing, and we finally founded a working marketing model. We also successfully opened our B2B business, where companies join in our Cadparent program, where they sponsor our service for lonely and poor elderly people. And with this steady growth and Kim Väisänen's name, we lured along 7 more well-known angel investors and got a full round of 300,000 euros. And it surely took like many, many discussions and at least 30 no answers. The funding news celebrations, it ended quickly after the nightmare called Corona. We got the news that it would be almost illegal to visit over 70 years old people. So 90% of our customers disappeared, and so did the fresh investment. The investors, they backed down and only left us with 1/3 of the investment. And they had a condition that we had 6 months' time to get the monthly revenue back, so they would then invest the 2/3 of the money. We were in a so deep shit and tried to figure out ways to keep the business rolling. And then we even pivoted to grocery delivery. It kept us really busy, but it was a really bad business because all the payment abuses. After a super rough summer, we managed to get most of the lost customers back, and we got the rest of the money from investors. We were then in a nice almost 10x growth path, but the money was again running out, so we started to prepare for the next funding round. And we ended up closing the funding round next spring, 1.7 million euros, and it took like hundreds of hours of meetings and at least 60 no answers from investors. But the learning again was to never give up. And with this money, we thought that we had a clear strategy for growth. The number of our office workers, it grew to 70 people, and we opened first new market, the Swedish market. And we began working with a new professional board, and we worked super hard to make that 10x growth goals again. But later that year, we found ourselves in a situation where there was a lot of PR, a lot of nice pöhinä, but the revenue goals wasn't there where we and investors were hoping for. We were again in a need of external funding, but the first discussions with investors, they weren't promising. We had a nice growth, but the business metrics and unit economics, they weren't in place. So money was again running out. Then early next year, 2022, we faced a situation where there was nearly no money left and our expenses were out of hands. There was few investors that were interested, but they wanted to see lower expenses in order to make the investment. So we ended up organizing the 8 weeks cooperation negotiations, where altogether around 25 people left the company. This has surely been the most difficult experience in our working history. To let go of the dear people you have handpicked yourself and see all the talking in media, in Yodel, it was a really, really tough spring. And at the same time, we needed to raise an emergency loan to pay people's salary. And again, me and Meri-Tuuli were personally responsible of that loan. But after this, the new investors, they were convinced to make the investment. It wasn't 10 million that we first looked for, but 4 million. This time it took 7 months of negotiations and over 200 no answers. But we made it. This round was closed with an amazing new investors. And since this, we have opened the UK market, and we have currently an amazing team of 45 people that are so motivated in building Gubbe to our vision in building Gubbe, the greatest elderly care company. So, this was our story so far, and I thought I would now share you my learnings, my kind of favorite quotes along the startup journey. The first one is always think bigger. And as Mervi said, dream bigger. Think about the world's best person or company in your field and think how they would think. So always compare yourself to world's best. And then say it out loud. Say it out loud to everyone and everywhere, because this saying out loud really makes things real. And then do versus plan. This is actually my favorite quote, one of my favorite quotes from Kim Väisänen. He said that well planned is 100% undone. Then fake it till you make it. We all know the study about job ads, the big list of criteria and how men apply if they only meet with 60% of them, and how women need to meet with every criteria to apply for the job. So I believe that especially us Finns and women, we need a bit more of this. Fake it till you make it. And then be endlessly optimistic. Because it's quite hard to beat a person or a company who never gives up. And then, don't mind the shit and failures. They will come on daily, on weekly basis, and the ability to tolerate setbacks and failures, that will define your success. So just don't mind the setbacks, just keep pushing forward to your vision. And the next one, this is kind of a for your personal development, so emphasize strengths, that's a hard word, strengths, versus develop your weaknesses. Because I believe that in this way, you will reach the best version of yourself. And because no one can be good at anything, so just focus on where you are good at. And then lastly, we only live once. Thinking on should I share this, but I always have thought this way, but after very recently facing the most horrible accidents where we lost our son, after that our life has not been the same. It really showed me how fragile life can be. So So I don't want to find anything positive in the death of my son, but something that it really helped me to see the big pictures, things that really matter in work life, in personal life. So yeah, you never know when is this the last day alive. So don't waste time in irrelevant things. Okay. I wish you all the strength to go towards your vision, and don't let anything or anyone to come in your way. And if you want to follow our journey, Gubbe's journey, go find us on social media. And if you want to try the best elderly care service, with this code, WiT, you can redeem 2 free visits for your elderly loved one. Thank you so much.